What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Arrival Entertainment, and today we're going to be talking about The King's Daughter, the new fantasy film that nobody is seeing. The King's Daughter is a new fantasy period piece starring Pierce Brosnan, Kea Scodelario, and directed by Sean McNamara. I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. And this movie is about a king's obsession with immortality, which leads him to capturing a mermaid, stealing its life force, or going to steal its life force, and then bringing in his daughter to the palace, but his daughter doesn't know that she's his daughter, and then she grows a friendship with said mermaid and tries to convince him to let the mermaid loose. And then Atlantis is brought into the film. Odd premise. Very, very odd. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, what the hell is this movie? Well, I was thinking that too, and apparently a lot of people were. I don't remember seeing a single trailer for this at all. And apparently I heard a rumor that this film was shot in like 2014, but it wasn't released until now. I don't know if that's true, so don't hold that against me. But in my last video when I said I was going to review this movie, I made plans to review it literally that day I shot the video. So I had really no anticipation for this. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't planning it or anything. I just literally picked a movie at random because in my attempt of trying to make more content for this channel, I said to myself, well, I'm going to see as much movies as I can. And I like that idea of going to see a movie that you know nothing about, you don't really have any anticipation for it, you have no idea about anything about it, or even who's in the movie. And that can be pretty cool. You can discover some new classics, new favorites for yourselves. I have a ton of favorite movies that were similar to that aspect. I did not expect it, did not know what it was about, but I gave it a chance, I saw it, and I loved them. And that isn't for this movie. This movie is pretty bad. I mean, I had a feeling this movie was going to be kind of bad when I didn't recognize a single movie logo when this movie started. There's quite a bit of movie logos in the beginning, and they all looked like they were made in iMovie software, the iMovie software that I use. There was one opening logo that looked a little familiar. It looked like it was going to be the Orion logo, and I was like, oh, Orion updated their logo, and then it popped up, and I was like, nope, I don't know what that is. And then I saw the other ones, and I was like, yeah, I've never heard a single one of these studios producing this film. And then I knew I was in for more crap when the movie started with a narration, and it does that cliche fairy tale-like opening where you see the camera pans to a book that has the title of the film, The King's Daughter. The book opens up and then you hear a narration of the background of these characters, and I was like, oh no. I mean, when the opening of your movie is something that Shrek made fun of, that's a clear warning sign that you're not gonna get the best kind of movie here. And it was only in the first couple minutes of the movie where I said to myself, this is gonna be a cheap looking movie, isn't it? And sure enough, the rest of the movie was. This movie looks like it was a made-for-TV movie that for whatever reason got a theatrical release. And it wasn't like polished up or re-edited or anything like that. They just put the finished product that they had made for TV into theaters, and it's not theater quality. This movie looks incredibly cheap. I mean, you can easily see that simply by the way the film is edited. There was some really choppy editing in here. By the way the film is color graded, the daytime shots are edited very brightly, and it looks very saturated. And then the nighttime shots look really dull and boring looking, and I don't really have a better way to describe the nighttime shots than just dull. In fact, dull is probably the definitive word for me, at least, how I can describe this movie. This movie is so dull and so boring. Characters would talk to each other and it's not interesting. The way it's filmed is uninspiring and uninteresting as well. There's gossip scenes in this film where some of the people are talking about the king's daughter when she's at the palace, and they're literally doing that stupid thing where they're talking to each other like this, and they're giving her looks, and oh, look, there she is. And it's like, what are you doing? What is this? The only characters I was somewhat enjoying was Pierce Brosnan as King Louis and the girl that played his daughter, Kea Scodelario. They're they're doing their best. They're pretty good. Well, Pierce Brosnan's a great actor. Not just James Bond. I've seen him in other stuff where he's really fantastic in. And I haven't seen much of the girl that plays his daughter, but I've seen a decent amount where I know she can act pretty well. And they're doing their best here. But everyone else, whew, I don't mean to pick on actors because I understand making movies is not an easy gig. I've never tried it, but I fully believe that making movies in any regard is not easy. But I can't help but notice that these performances, besides those two, are really, really bad. Every line of dialogue in this movie, except from Pierce Brosnan and Kayla Scodelario, sound like it's first take, or they're just phoning it in so they could just go home for the night. It really is that boring. The mermaid effects look cheap as hell. I'm almost positive they did not get an actress to play the mermaid. It was completely CGI. And all the effects, computer-wise, really stood out. I mean, there are some horrendous green screen, especially at the end. I'm not gonna spoil the ending just in case you're curious of checking this out, but all I'll say is the king's daughter is doing something on a cliff, and the green screen effects are atrocious. I mean, I was pretty bored throughout the movie, but when that popped up, I literally went like this, and I was like, oh my god, they didn't even try. I mean, this is stuff that I can do better on my green screen effect on my iMovie software. Like, I understand this movie, like I said, it looked cheap. It was probably very low budget, so they couldn't do a lot effects-wise. But would it really be that hard to film this actress and Pierce Brosnan in someone's backyard? Or just anywhere with natural backgrounds and lighting? Because the way the green screen works in that scene and throughout the movie when there is green screen, it's like you see the characters, they're lit one way and then the background is lit another way. How did that get through editing? And like I said earlier, Atlantis is brought in this film towards the end, and it was just awful. It didn't make sense. They hinted at it somewhere in the beginning, but then when it's actually brought in, it's at the point where you forgot about it. So you're like, you almost thought to yourself, wait, where did this come from? And then sure enough, Atlantis is all effects, so it looked pretty bad. Actually, throughout this whole movie, I was thinking to myself, where are we going? The film is trying to balance all these different things throughout the movie, and there's things that are just sticking out, and it's not really working. And that also has to do with the choppiness of the editing that I mentioned earlier, because like I said, it's edited pretty poorly, and you just get lost throughout the movie. Not really lost or confused on plot, but just lost, like I mentioned earlier, where are we going with all this? But hey, we got an upbeat pop song to play us out through the ending and get us to the credits, and it was really out of place. Like when the music started, I said to myself, wait a minute, this is a period piece. Why is there an upbeat pop song? I get the ending was in Atlantis, which didn't make sense, but why are we playing this pop song in a movie that's essentially a period piece? It made no sense. It felt so out of place. The song was atrocious. I didn't even stay for the credits. There might have been an after credit scene. I don't know. I didn't stay for it because I just wanted to get out of the theater before that song bursted my eardrums. As you can tell, I do not recommend this movie. Kaya Scodelario and Pierce Brosnan, they're doing their best with the material they're given, but everything else ranges from meh to atrocious. And I can't recommend this movie to anyone simply because of two okay performances. This movie is a walkout. I am glad I saw it because it was a little refreshing seeing something this bad. I normally don't go out of my way to see crappy movies, so in that regard, it was a little refreshing just seeing something that I kind of expected would be bad. But with that being said, it's bad. So, yeah. Don't see this movie. There's plenty of other releases left over from December that are still playing. Anything is better than this, really. So guys, that's my review for The King's Daughter. If you have seen this movie, because like I said, no one really is talking about this, which leads me to believe that no one knows about this movie. But just in case you have seen it, let me know what you thought about the film down in the comments section. And just like always, guys, thank you again for watching. My next video, I'm finally going to do my complete DVD collection video. I've been talking about doing a DVD collection video for a few years now, so I'm finally going to do one this weekend. So look forward to that video. Again, thank you as always for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like and share it. Subscribe right here if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, take care.